Jailbreaking the PS4 is so easy that a wizard with 2 lampshades attached to its hands could do it. And I think it's getting easier as time goes on. I feel like at this point that the PS4 is almost necessary to jailbreak just from... or I don't know. Realistically, anything that's kind of old is probably necessary to mod in some way just to, like, make it better. The fact that it is very easy helps because I don't know about anyone else listening to this, but when I find something is too difficult sometimes, I will give up and admit I'm a failure. But you don't have to walk away from this particular situation thinking that. I have jailbroken my PlayStation 4 for the very first time. I don't know, I never really thought about doing it for that system, but after looking into it, it was something I felt was necessary, and I'm very excited and happy that I did it. So grab the stale popcorn out of the freezer. Or, what? Oh, don't grab it out of the freezer. Grab it out of the shelf. Maybe put some butter on it, they'll taste better. But today, this is going to be only about a jailbroken PlayStation 4. So to not just keep beating a dead mule over here, just this whole situation that went on was actually some of the main reasons why I wanted to do this. I feel like I was just trying to keep up with as much information as possible when it came to what was going on with all the news lately. I honestly feel like if Sony just dug my dead grandmother up and started flipping pancakes on top of her, I wouldn't even be surprised. It would just be something I would expect. Or what? No. I wouldn't expect. I'm just saying that anything that damn company does, I would not be surprised about. That goes for like all of them too. Xbox, Microsoft, Nintendo, anything that is weird and a little bit silly maybe sometimes. I don't know if I can be surprised about it. So it's just, you kind of have to expect it at this point. Maybe that's a terrible mindset. You just have to go into things like thinking terribly. And then when good things happen, you're like happy. And if stuff still goes bad, you're like, all right, well, I expected that. Don't take that advice. So this is basically just going to be how to jailbreak a PlayStation 4 with a USB and everything else you need with it. In terms of, is this going to be a full in-depth thing that has to do with how amazing a jailbroken PlayStation 4 is? To be honest with you, I'm still trying to figure that out myself. When I do figure out all of the amazing things you can do with this after it is jailbroken, I am planning on doing a dedicated video for that. So if you're interested, feel free to subscribe. Or maybe you just, the hell with this guy. And that's alright as well. There's also something that should be mentioned before any of this begins, because at this point where we are right now, the firmware that you can do this specific method with is 13 and under. I think it's kind of at the point too where if you want to jailbreak your PlayStation 4, it's either you have to be committed to the jailbreak, you're staying offline, like you're not going on the PlayStation, you're not going on PlayStation Network at the risk of possibly updating your system or anything like that. You kind of have to stay off of that. You can either jailbreak it and just have a jailbroken PlayStation 4, or you can have one of the latest firmwares and you can still go online and do all that stuff, but you cannot have a jailbroken system. If you do this method, it will wipe your system because you have to like restore the PS4 for a section of this. There's actually a video I saw. I'm not going to be like going over that in this video, but there is a video I saw. I'll leave a link to it down low. Just goes over basically how to move everything over without having to wipe anything. But I didn't really feel the need to transfer anything over, so I just did this anyway. Important information before this begins, because I don't want to sit here and make people... Imagine if I was sitting here and people did this or something and then it wiped their system and it's like, this damn bastard on YouTube didn't warn me. So what do you need for this? You only need a couple things. You need your PlayStation 4, of course, because, god damn it, if you didn't have that, then this would just be nothing. You need a computer, because we do need to get some files from the internet. We also need a USB drive. That's also very important. All these things are important. And you, I guess, need the controller, because I guess if you didn't have that, then I don't know. And that's all we need. We don't need anything else. We don't need like special cables or something. We don't need pieces of technology that might confuse you or something, right? We don't need to do anything else other than what is in front of us. But we do need some downloads. We need to go to a GitHub page and we need to download the actual PlayStation View app, which this is basically the way we're going to do this. Once we download that, we need something like 7-zip too to be able to extract it so we can just transfer this over to the USB drive eventually. But we also need GoldHEN, which I think is the main jailbreak at this point. That's just easy as well. We have to extract that. And then we can also get something like the Homebrew store, which is important. Because if you want to be able to get some applications on this, like, I guess, yeah. Basically good to go now. We just need to be able to format our USB drives into exFAT, which is a simple process. Opening the View System Backup folder, which is where we got the View application itself, finding the PS4 folder, and moving that to the root of our USB drives is what we have to do first. We just have to move the goldhen.bin file that we find in the actual GoldHEN folder we downloaded. That can also be transferred to the root of the USB drive, but we have to rename it. File name extensions is always something that's important to have on for things like this, so we have to make sure that that is also on for this. We can change the name of this to payload.bin, and then we're done with that. Stay there. Don't run away from me, okay? Everything stay there. Now let's move the Homebrew store to the USB drive as well. And then that's it. That's all we have to do is just grab a couple of downloads, transfer them over to the USB drive, rename one file, and that's it. Now we have to rip the USB drive after we eject it from the computer. We have to pull it out of there. We have to put it in the PlayStation 4. And this is where we have to restore it. Might be a good idea to disconnect from the internet, at least for now. Now going to System Settings, we have to go to Backup and Restore. And this is where we do restore the PlayStation 4. And this will give you some warnings, just letting you know what's going to happen once you do this. We have waited. I have waited. We've waited for this to complete. Doesn't take that long. But once it is finished, first thing we need to do is turn off anything auto download or update, because we absolutely do not want to update the system at all. Probably a good idea to connect to your internet now. We can turn the internet back on. We can set up an internet connection. But the one thing we do need to do is we need to change the DNS settings so we can make that manual. And we need to change the primary DNS to this exact bunch of numbers. And the reason for this DNS right here is going to basically block system updates and everything like that. So we don't have to worry about accidentally maybe connecting to something we don't want to. Even though we have like auto download and all that stuff off now, just to make this better, we change the DNS setting, the primary DNS to this, and maybe nothing will have to be worried about. So at the end of this, you can like test your connection. It will say it will fail, and I was scared when this happened, but that doesn't matter. That doesn't matter because we're just looking for the IP address to be good. We don't need to actually do anything else. So if it says it fails, that's all right. Now's the important stuff. Now is the exciting things. Exciting. We have to go to the View After Free, the application that we downloaded. It will give you this warning message that says whatever, just shut up basically. We can just ignore it. Don't even pay attention to it. Back out of it, press X. We can move on. At the very top, it's just right there. Once you open this, once it loads up, shouldn't take that long either. You will see a jailbreak button at the top, and this is where we do it. Once we hit the jailbreak button, you should see everything you want to see. This is how we jailbreak our PlayStation 4. So if you do power off the system and you turn it back on, we do have to open up the View After Free app again. Good thing about this too is we don't have to keep the USB drive in once we actually go through the process of putting the app on the system. Once we restore it, It's just, you can turn the PlayStation 4 on, you can open up the View After Free app, and the USB drive doesn't even have to be in. Kind of a perfect next step. If we want to get the Homebrew store, this is where we need the USB drive. I think this is just how you get package files on the system. Like, if you have a package file or anything you want to transfer over or download onto the PS4, this is just where you need to go to get package files on the PS4 once you go through the jailbreaking process. Everything at this point is, I think, good to go. We have the system here. Yep. The hell am I talking about? We have the actual jailbreak itself activated. We have GoldHEN good to go. A lot of these settings are just like personal preference. Like if you want to have an FPS counter on or something like that. If you want to be able to display the actual game ID or title or whatever. And GoldHEN is pretty cool. You can do quite a few things with it. You can just scroll through and, you know, there's a lot of, yeah, it's basically what it is. There's just a lot of cool things. And again, I'm not really going to sit here and say like what to do, because a lot of it might just be something where you might think something is really cool. I feel like a really cool thing, or just one of the coolest things that I was interested in doing with a jailbroken PS4, was being able to play games I never played before. For the first time in my life, I was able to play the playable teaser on PS4. PT, more specifically. I've played some horror games lately. I've been into that more. I think I've said that in many videos now, but I've played some horror games, man. And I'm telling you, I've said that a bunch of times. There was not a game that I played where I was maybe more terrified that I would soil my pants than when I played this game. I kind of stay away from the crazy ones. Maybe this is why this game scared the absolute living hell out of me for a little bit, is because I don't like playing games like this where they're kind of so damn scary that you don't even want to move. I was actually able to play Project Cars 2 for the first time too, and that was... I don't think that's on the PlayStation Store either right now. I'll be honest. It wasn't the greatest racing game I've ever played, and there were times where I was playing it where I was like, huh, I thought this would look better. It's still a very fun game, and I very much enjoyed it. There are definitely other racing games that I've played, even from the PlayStation 4 generation, that I definitely enjoyed more. Again, though, it's just nice to be able to play games where, unless you have the disc, and, you know, Dirt Rally is the perfect example for that as well. This game is amazing. This game is nowhere close to some made-up thought in my damn head where I was thinking about that this game isn't good. This game is incredible. This might be the same thing as Project Cars, I think. I don't know if this is still available on the PlayStation Store. I might have to look into that. I don't know if I've ever had more fun playing a game like this, like a dirt-based game. It's impossible, by the way. It's very difficult, and I'm already kind of just bad at many things. If I want to prove to myself that I am terrible at something, I'll just play Dirt Rally over and over again, because this is probably one of the hardest racing games that I've played recently. But I like it. I like the fact that it is challenging. Like a challenging experience, not to the point where it's impossible, but just the right amount of challenge. I feel like this game does this perfectly. It's just nice to be able to revisit some games on the PlayStation 4 again, even though maybe some of them they're available on the PS5 store. It's just nice seeing them on like the PlayStation 4 menu again. Watch Dogs is a perfect example of that. I like this game. I don't know if it's a hot take or something, but I really like Watch Dogs 1. Just when I play Watch Dogs, I think instantly of just how nice and amazing the PS4 era was. It just feels like a PS4 game. If that makes any damn sense. Probably not. Even some of the early PS4 games. Launch titles. Need for Speed Rivals. Was that really good? Maybe it's not as good as Need for Speed 2015, at least in my opinion. That's probably like maybe the last really good Need for Speed in my opinion. Obviously, some of the old ones are amazing from like the PS3, PS2 generation, but Need for Speed Rivals, while not being one of the greatest Need for Speeds ever, obviously, is a fun game. Okay, so I'm actually unbelievably excited for this moment in my life. I don't know the last time I was this excited for anything, to be honest. I think the seasoned carrots that were a little bit burnt did not excite me as much as this might. This is going to be the very first time I am playing this game. I don't know what is going on. Why am I in... I can already say this game looks incredible. How do I move the camera? Oh, here we go. You can tell this is nice. Oh, here we go. It's snowing, I think. Or is that rain? I was just playing Project Cars 2 the other day, and that was one thing I noticed that, I don't know if I was just losing my mind or something. It didn't look the greatest when it was anything to do with a weather event that was not just purely sunny. Good God, the first race I did, I got 3 trophies. That's what I'm talking about. Honestly, it's a long time after PS4 came out. It doesn't feel like it's even that old. 2013 was 13 years ago. It feels like it almost just came out. I don't know, man. It just feels like the PS5 generation sometimes didn't even happen. You wake up, you have it on your desk. The hell's that thing? PlayStation 4 was incredible. I really think it's one of the greatest systems. As I age, I like it more. And I mean it. I'm at the point now where I don't think I'm ever going to change my mind, where I think that like PS3, 360 are some of the greatest consoles and most fun consoles we've ever seen. PlayStation 2, PlayStation 4 even. Those are always worth going back and playing games on. And when you're doing something like this to make it better, and there's a lot of things that you can do with it to make it better, then it just makes you feel better about it. There's a list of consoles, not that large, where when I play them, I just instantly become happy. And the PS4 is one of them. I always think about this too. This might be maybe the last great console that Sony ever releases. That's what I think. I don't know, PS5, whatever. I mean, yeah. I think that's it. I feel like I've been sitting here for only 10 minutes. Did I even talk about anything? Mouth is so damn dry right now. Probably gonna run downstairs and get some Cinnamon Toast Crunch now, even though it tastes different. Anyone else think that Cinnamon Toast Crunch tastes worse now? You know what else that tastes worse? Corn Pops.